everyone, Raj Sahu here, back with another new home walkthrough. Today we're going through the Tampico plan with Toll Brothers Homes. This plan is over 3,800 square feet. It has 4 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, has a 3-car garage. And at the time of this video getting posted, this is the only Tampico plan that I've seen on the internet. It's actually the first one that was ever built. And even though this home is not for sale, it was just closed on by my client, you can still build this plan from scratch. Now, normally I would walk through that front door, but in this case, my client had just closed on the home, and recently they had to redo the concrete work that was in front of the front door to make sure it drained properly. So I couldn't actually walk there, but you'll see we can enter through this 1-car carriage garage. And as we curl around to the right side, we're gonna be right back at the front door. Now, I am a realtor here in Austin, Texas, but you shouldn't always work with me, and I'll tell you why later. As we get back to the front door, you'll see this plan opens to the 2nd story with this curved staircase that goes to this very large game room. Opposite that game room is going to be a media room, and we will get upstairs later on in the video. But first, I want to get out to the main living area because I love some of the upgrades that my clients chose here in the kitchen. You got sliding glass doors on the back wall in the living room. You have windows everywhere. And throughout this video, I'll cover each room in detail, and I'll also give you some ideas if you're looking to build your home from scratch. Now, as you'll see in this plan, it opens up really well in the living room with very tall ceilings, and we'll get back into this area. But I want to start here in the kitchen, and while we're here, I want to give a big thank you to my clients for opening up their home and allowing me to put it on my channel. They were actually the first client to close in this section of Santa Rita Ranch, which is a community in Liberty Hill, Texas. And we'll talk more about the community that we're in later on in the video. Here in the kitchen, these 3 light bulbs that you're seeing are there for my clients to put in pendant lights after they close, so they haven't put them in just yet. The focal point of this kitchen is definitely going to be this waterfall kitchen island countertop. I love the veins that are running through this countertop. I also like the outlets on either side of the island, how Toll Brothers installed them. They just pop out like this, and it just so happens to match up with all the colors that are in this kitchen, including the great cabinets. Now on this side, we have a 5-burner gas stove. I love this elegant backsplash that goes all the way up to the ceiling following that vent hood. You have glass inserts in the upper cabinets, and I think the combination of great design upgrades and tons of natural light coming in from the windows just makes this space feel so big. And a couple of the things that I would mention that I would recommend doing here, you see the hole next to the kitchen faucet? That's going to be for a reverse osmosis water treatment system. Now, my clients knew they were going to put that in after closing, so we had the hole done by the builder, which I think is a great idea. Sometimes people get very nervous putting in holes in their countertop after they close. Now in the living room, they have 2 floor outlets that you just saw there, which I think are great, not just for recliners that are motorized, but also for plugging in laptops, phones, or any of the electronic devices we carry these days. I actually get a lot of buyers that say when they're winding down in the day, they just need to send some emails out. It's nice to just plop on the couch, open up your laptop, and send some things out while the TV's going on in the background. And I know I've been guilty of that before, and that's why I think having those 4 outlets is a great idea. Now I have to head outside and show you how well this patio opens up, because as you saw on the inside in the living room, you had windows on the right wall, you had sliding glass doors on the back wall, and then windows even above those sliding glass doors. And I have to say, when you enter the front door of this home, which we weren't able to do, but if you can imagine getting back to the front door, you can see all the way out into this beautiful backyard. And then when you enter the living room, you also notice through the transom windows that the ceilings are so tall in the patio. And this just gives that grand feeling that I think a lot of people are looking for. That grand entrance with the spiral staircase, seeing all the way out into the backyard as soon as you enter the front door, and then tall ceilings everywhere. When you first walk in the living room, the patio, this is the place that I think a lot of people are spending the bulk of their time in their home. And that's why you should be putting a lot of upgrades usually in your main living area, both from a design and structural standpoint. It's great for livability, but it's also great for future resale. Moving on, we are in the dining room where we have a chandelier here. We have a couple windows off the back wall. Now, the builder is currently offering an option on this plan to put sliding glass doors on the right side. My buyers elected not to do that. They valued privacy in their dining area. But I've had another buyer build this plan. They put sliding glass doors there because the sun was rising on that side, and they just love the idea of more natural light coming in. Either way, there's a lot of personal preference there. And moving on, this is going to be a look at the study, which also has windows that look off the back of the home. I like the positioning of this study. It's unique. Most builders put it at the front of the home. I find for some buyers that have pets and they work from home, and every time the Amazon guy comes up to the front door, your dogs bark. It's nice to just then have a study that's in the back of the home. It's a little bit more private. It's also right next to this primary bedroom, which has cathedral-style ceilings. It also has that beam running through the center of that ceiling. I think this came out so well, and I love seeing my buyers' eyes when we walk through their home and they saw the cathedral-style ceilings, because I think it just adds that extra touch I think a lot of people are looking for in their home, where obviously everything was open in that main living area, which we already saw, and then it just continues here in the primary bedroom. Now, I have to say, my clients took a very big leap of faith by building this home because there were no other Tampico plans under construction that we could see. This was the first one finished. And so my clients and I compared this 2D floor plan that Toll Brothers was offering with other homes that we had walked. We had taken all the things that we really liked in a home and we found it in this plan. I think it really came out well, especially those cathedral style ceilings in the primary bedroom. I think this also came out really well in the primary bathroom, where we did a freestanding tub. My clients picked this tile that had some great movement in it on the floor. It also goes up as the tub backsplash. They used that same tile in the walls of this walk-in shower, which we'll see next. And then to contrast that lighter tile on the floor in the walk-in shower, they did a darker tile that matches up really well with the cabinets. And then just to put their own touch in here, they did this very cool accent band that goes all the way up to the ceiling, all the way up to that rain shower head. As much as I love what my buyers did here in their primary bathroom from a design standpoint, I will admit it can be very intimidating going to a builder's design studio and trying to pick all these different design elements of a primary bathroom or even just a kitchen and trying to get these items to coordinate with each other. But after going to around 17 different design studios, and I've represented buyers now with 19 different builders just in the last 2 years, so I can give you some tips while we go through this primary closet, and then we'll get back to the front of the home and show the rest of the first story before we head upstairs. The first tip is simple. You got to prepare. Preparation's so important before you go to the design appointment. Google images or go to Pinterest, search for kitchens and bathrooms and try to get inspired from what you're seeing, flag different pictures of things that you really like, and then have those pictures ready for your design appointment, because you'll most likely be meeting with a designer that has designed tens, maybe even hundreds of homes with that specific builder. So if you give them pictures of what you like, they'll be able to quickly find options that are similar to what you're showing them on your phone or your iPad. Now, my last tip would be to work with a great realtor who does a lot of new construction, because realtors are unbiased, or at least I can speak for myself. I'm unbiased, where I don't work for any of these builders. I work for my buyers, and I can tell you the ones that are really expensive. I can tell you the ones that don't really have any options whatsoever. And I can also tell you the ones that I think are doing really well right now. And these things do change over time. So if you need help with that, definitely reach out to me. Now, I did miss the pantry before. I think I got a little bit excited to show you this study and those cathedral-style ceilings in the primary bathroom. But this is going to be the pantry that's located right behind the kitchen. We also have a utility room back here where my clients did do a sink. We also have a washer and dryer that would be to the left of this sink. And it's a good size utility room. I think we even did do a dedicated outlet for a second refrigerator, and I think that's right over here, but we picked those electrical upgrades over a year ago, so I don't remember them off the top of my head. But either way, that's a good size utility room, and it's located right off the entrance to the 2-car garage. Now, if you recall, this was the 2-car garage that faced out to the street, and then we have a side-facing 1-car garage. I love that side-facing 1-car garage, perfect for storage, especially for people that are moving here from up north, where they're accustomed to having basements. I say it a lot because I don't think people think about their storage and when they come here, and then when they move into a home, then they start to realize how little of it they have. But of course, with a 1-car carriage garage, great area for storage. Now here's going to be a look at the powder bathroom. My client wanted to do a mirror after closing, so they just asked the builder to just not put in a mirror there. And by the way, if a builder ever says they are required to put a mirror in a bathroom that you're going to be changing out after closing, just ask them not to put the glue on. That way when you take it off, it doesn't ruin the drywall. Moving on, we're in an area that Toll Brothers is calling as a workspace area. There's definitely a lot of uses that you could have for an area like this. I've had some people say they just need a small second study area. It doesn't need to be big, it just needs to fit a desk. I've had other people say that they need an area for prayer, and that's really important to them. So I think there's so many other reasons that you could probably think of that you could use that room for. Moving on, we just saw a door that goes to the one-car carriage garage. I would open that up, but that's actually how we entered because we couldn't enter in through the front door. This is going to be the second bedroom downstairs. I love the positioning of this bedroom because, like I say in a lot of my videos, I feature homes that make sense, that I think are very livable, and this is one of those reasons why I think this plan is very livable. The second bedroom is private from the other areas of the home, private from the other bedroom that's on this first floor, private from the living area, and it does have its own in-suite full bathroom. And one of the upgrades that I think is important in your second bedroom downstairs is that floor tile. So to do that, usually it's a structural upgrade to do first off a walk-in shower instead of a bathtub, and then also do what usually most builders call a mud set tile shower. And that just means that they dig into the concrete to allow for enough room to put in floor tile so that you don't have an acrylic pan. An acrylic pan isn't the end of the world, but I've heard some buyers say it can get slippery on an acrylic pan when you put on soap and you wash it off. That soap gets a little bit slippery. I think for some people who are usually getting that second bedroom downstairs for parents or somebody elderly, don't want going up and down the steps, then I think it's usually a good idea to just get the mud set tile shower as long as the costs make sense. Moving on, we're gonna head upstairs, and I'm really excited to show you this game room and media room up there, and I'll talk a little bit more about the community that we're in as well. Now, I did mention earlier that my clients bought this plan as a 2D floor plan, but fortunately, most Toll Brothers websites that show all their floor plans also show the dimensions of each of their plans. So we were able to compare the dimensions with what we were seeing online with other homes that we had walked, and that made it a little bit easier. But what we saw in that 2D floor plan is that the living room downstairs, the patio were all huge, and so was the game room, which we're walking up to here. Now, I can't give the dimensions in this video because if the builder changes those dimensions over time, I can't come back in here and correct it, and I definitely don't want to mislead anybody. But what I will tell you is getting up to this game room, it is huge. And we knew that even just looking at the dimensions, but once the home got built out and the windows started to come in, we just knew this space was going to open up really well. And I was very happy to see their faces when they got upstairs because I know they were happy, and I also know for future resale, the types of things that are in this plan are going to do really well over time. Now, while we go through this bedroom that does have an in-suite full bathroom, which you can also access from the hallway, and then we'll go to the media room next, I did want to highlight the community that we're in. It's called Santa Rita Ranch. It's something I feature a lot on my channel because I think it's such a livable community. It's very active, it's very lively, meaning they have lots of events throughout the year just inside the community. They have 2 amenity centers in the community, and they're building the 3rd amenity center right down the street from the home that we're in. Now, I love this section of Santa Rita Ranch that we're in. It's called Homestead, and I like it because there are a lot of forever homes in this part of Santa Rita Ranch. And I think that's really important, especially if you're buying a forever home, you want to be in this home and stay in it long term. You want to be around neighbors that are also going to be in their homes long term and not rent it out. And I think you're going to have less rentals in this area relative to other neighborhoods that are out there. And aside from that, the amenity center that I mentioned that's under construction down the street from here, it's going to be on 8 acres. Their last amenity center was on 4 acres. So they just continued to build out these amazing amenities that I think so many people are striving to be around right in the heart of the neighborhood. So if you're somebody that likes to be in a pool and meet up with your neighbors and friends that you live around, then Santa Rita Ranch is not going to have anything that rivals its amenities. Well, it's got a couple communities that might be close, but you got to call me and I'm happy to recommend some things to you based on your criteria. Okay, moving on, we are in the media room. I like that this space is enclosed, so with no windows, you can really make this into a theater room or just like a hangout area. Also, my clients did this really nice designer carpet. I think it came out well. One thing I want to mention about carpet, which you don't see, is the padding underneath. I think it's always a good idea to upgrade the thickness of the padding. It really makes a difference when you're up here. Okay, we're gonna see the second bedroom that's up here, and again, it was 4 bedrooms total, so 2 bedrooms down, 2 bedrooms up. And stick with me. By the end of this, we're gonna take my drone up in the air over the home, and I'll show you some lots that you can build this type of home from scratch. Now, I like the privacy again of this bedroom, being that it's in the back of the home. It also has its own in-suite full bathroom, a walk-in closet, as you see here. And while we go through the rest of this, I did want to clarify something I said earlier in the video, which is you shouldn't always use me as a realtor. I say that often in a lot of my videos because when people reach out to me, I don't try to convince every single person that they should only work with me. Instead, I try to identify their criteria and determine if I've worked with that criteria before, where I can provide max value to that person I'm talking to. To kind of give an example of that, I just had somebody contract the day I'm recording this in Santa Rita Ranch, and they had called me because they had watched a lot of my videos and they were looking at a couple builders, and the one builder they were really honing in on, they just needed some advice on, they didn't even negotiate on their behalf, and they just had some questions that I could be a guide for because I've worked with that builder. Literally the lot that they're building their home on, I had somebody just move in 3 doors down with that same builder, and just in this community alone in the first 6 months of this year, I've had 11 closings. So I've done a lot around this area. But when people reach out to me and they say, well, I want a different area, I want a different builder, a different price point, if I don't do enough volume in that area, I'll refer them to one of my realtor partners who is more of an expert in that area. And that means if you reach out to me, I'll be straightforward and honest with you on who I think is best for your criteria. So reach out to me. My info's in the description of this video. And before I let you go, you got to see this. I love this elevation. Stone on the right, stucco on the left, a dark accent running down the center. That looks amazing when you pull up to this home. Now, all the greenery ahead of us is where Santa Rita Ranch's future sections are going to be, and then we're pulling around to the new lots that are here in Santa Rita Ranch, where there's going to be quite a few builders building in this new section, and as you can tell, they're busy. I can't even count how many trucks are working on this area, and when I'm out here, there's constantly new construction, and then they just keep moving deeper and deeper into the neighborhood. Now, in the distance, you'll see a middle school that has been around for a year or two, that they're going to have an elementary school across from that middle school, and then an amenity center that's currently under construction right next to that elementary school. Now, I did want to hear from you in the comments. Show some love for my clients and tell me what you loved about this home in the comments section. And I want to give my appreciation to my clients again. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your home. And before anybody goes, if you want to see another walkthrough of a beautiful model home in this neighborhood, click on the thumbnail that's appeared on your screen. That home opens to the second story when you first walk in the front door, in the living room and in the dining room. As always, hope this helps. Take care, everyone.